Welcome to Put a Word on It, a podcast presented by Men of Valor. In each episode, we're going to talk with a different man, but each one with a unique journey from brokenness to freedom. I'm your host, Rudy Kalis. I spent over 40 years as a TV sportscaster, then retired and joined the Men of Valor program as a volunteer. So join the conversation. Reconciling men to God, their families, and society. Welcome to another edition of Put a Word on It, brought to you by Interstate AC. We sure appreciate all their help all the years. Here's something I like to do and wanted to enjoy. 3 years ago, we talked to Lance Roy. Lance had just started the program, been a part of it here, and really not been in prison, but he had a lot of difficulty in his life. So it's always interesting to see what has happened to them in these last couple of 2-3 years. In his case, he is now on staff, and even his face looks different. His story is different. He has grown as a man, and he's now an important part of Men of Valor. So let's go back and listen to what he had been and where he was to this new man now. Here's a great chance to meet Lance Roy. Lance, I can't believe 3 years ago we were talking out there in front of one of the buildings, and now you're on staff. Can you believe that?
I believe it would be 3 years to the day, because I'd been here a couple of days when you showed up. Yeah.
Yes, that's
This will
right.
be 3 years to the day, yeah.
Can you believe that it's happened this way? That you're on staff?
No, and not that we didn't even think about it until we just started talking about it, and it's amazing to me.
But how times have changed and how you have changed. You came in, and I bet you didn't know back then exactly, if you'd make it, actually, did you?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I knew this was my best shot at existing in that season of my life. I knew everything. I lost so much in the past. I had tried. I think I told you at the time, I was a very bad alcoholic, and I had tried some recovery houses, and I was blessed in the fact that this season of my life, Men of Valor had some space available. Not the case so much now, but I knew that this was going to be the program that could help me. And it was immediately when I'd come out here, and they said, well, are you just looking to get sober, or are you looking to be made whole? And when those words, made whole, hit me, is when I knew that I really desperately wanted to be part of Men of Valor. I could go to a rehab center and not be completed. There were so many pieces to the puzzle missing. The biggest piece was my relationship with Christ. So I knew that my best shot, and not just staying sober, but living and existing and having a future, was going to be coming through Men of Valor.
I think you said an interesting point. Back then, it was a season when they had some room. Right now, everything is full. It has completely changed. And here, you've never been incarcerated.
No, sir.
You just had a demon inside of you that alcohol had taken your life apart.
One thing I was really worried about coming here was the guys saying, why is he here? Why is he going through this program? And then when we get to talking, we'd be in classes together and the fellowship together, When you break meals with someone 3 times a day, you learn to know them and love them. And at the end of the day, people would just say, man, you were just in a different type of prison. And that was true. And I never realized it to come in here and being with the guys.
Does it take some determination to put up with the discipline required to go through the program? Because some guys come in here thinking, man, this will be just an easy party. But there's some, if you got to really want it bad in order to succeed. Is that right?
Well said, yes. A lot of guys, and I've noticed it with some of the younger guys, maybe they've been in some kind of halfway house or some kind of transitional living. They've never been part of a discipleship academy. And so I feel when they come here, they do think this is going to be a walk. This is a walk in the park. And it's a walk, all right. It's a rough park. But the destination is well worth it, and all the hard work you put into it gets put back into you. And it really is for the guys who are ready for it and ready to experience the toughest, easiest year of their life. As I often got told by certain staff members, this is going to be the toughest, easiest thing you've ever done. You graduation nights around here, first Tuesday of every month. Beautiful night. We just had a great one. 2 great testimonies from 2 graduates. And it is definitely just the ends justify the means. You may think you're having why is this rule here? Why is this boundary set for me? Well, I didn't know how to set boundaries for myself before I came to Men of Valor. So the boundaries that were set here put me right back put me right back where I needed to be heading. And I was fortunate enough to get to graduate in March of 2020.
I was just thinking, I bet a lot of guys, maybe yourself included, really didn't even know who they were. I mean, you grew up with all these things in your head, and then the alcohol fits in there, that you've literally spent these 3 years finding out who you are. What have you found out?
Well, I used to always not to surround myself with the right type of people and just to recognize my surroundings. I used to had this idea of what I was supposed to be doing and who I was supposed to be with to be a success. And I was just ignoring the fundamentals, the beautiful parts of life. I would go to church once a week. You know, I was baptized at 9. So I believe I was living like a 51 percenter. You know, I do enough good in my life. You know, I've been baptized. I get to heaven. They're going to say, we got a cloud right here for you. Here's your harp. I didn't really understand what it meant, not just to know Christ, but to make Christ known, not to accept him in my heart and let him take control of my heart. Let like what the energy that he's put into me to give back out to others. And in fact, I was so excited when they asked me if I'd like to go to Knoxville, to when they're going to be opening up a new campus there. And that's coming season of my life. I mean, I cannot explain this to you. I may not be able to say it properly with words, but I am certain that I've never enjoyed having a future so much in my life than I have right now. Getting to go to Knoxville, getting to continue the love that's felt here, planting there. We're going to cultivate. We're going to do some great stuff.
The thing I found it in my work over in the prison, but you with the guys here, you want to live up to what you're telling the guys to live up to, that it literally pushes you to be a better man. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does, and that's well said. I agree totally with that. Yeah, it's almost like I don't have any children of my own, but I imagine if I had a child, I'd want to set the example that I want him to live up to. So even though they're my brothers, sometimes I guess it does feel like I can be a father figure, and the fact that when we study together, you know, again, I wasn't completely unreligious. I just didn't understand how improperly I was worshiping. So when I would read my Bible, it'd be alone in my room. But being outside at a table where guys are maybe doing something else too, they'll see you in your word and they know, oh yeah, I should be in mine. Yeah, oh, this is a beautiful time in the morning to be writing in my journal. I should join Lance over there at the table. And that starts a discussion.
What's your role with the guys specifically?
Title right now is house manager. You know, I make sure all their needs are met, make sure no one's getting overlooked when it comes to medical appointments, jobs, getting to their jobs on time, making sure that they're all living up, holding each other accountable with, say, keeping the house nice, keeping their chores done, inspiring some by just talking to them. I remember one day I was driving a guy to work and he was having a bad day. And I just let him talk. Sometimes that's the main thing, is just being there for them. So he talked all about what was going on with his life. And I may have said 3 or 4 words. That afternoon, 8.5 hours later, I go to pick him up. And on the way back, he said, Lance, I really thought about what you said today. And you know what? You were right. And I kept thinking, oh my goodness, what did I say? And he's in a much better spirits though. Wow. So sometimes it's just being there for him.
Well, you know, our program is Put a Word on It. From 3 years ago, what's your word? What would it be today?
Well, I've thought about that, and I'm glad that you said 3 years ago, because it came to me since I've been here about being mindful. Mindfulness is my word. Be aware of where you are. You know, recognize the people you're with, and recognizing God's presence in your life is mindfulness.
Let me tell you, now more and more as we talk, I vividly remember our conversation, and everything about you, your facial expressions, the way you carried yourself, the way you spoke, is completely changed.
That is nothing but a compliment to me.
It is. There's a light that shines from you. I think there's an aura from a man of God, a true man of God, and I think you convey that to the men you spend time with.
Thank you.
Well, you deserve it. Thanks so much, Lance.
Thanks for having me.
Mindfulness. I hadn't thought about that. That's an interesting word from Lance, but that's so important in his life as he thinks about the things in his life and what God has done for him. To be mindful of all the wonderful things that the good Lord has done for him. Look, his face is different. His disposition is different. Just lit up with the idea of being able to be called to go to Knoxville and now really work with men all over again in a new way. His life is completely changed. He is mindful of all the good things that have happened to him. Great time that we had with him. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next time as we put a word on it.